Righto, young Lee Weapons, so I'm going to show you how to set up and maintain the heat so you can smoke or do long cooks on a kettle style barbecue. Today we'll just cover the snake method. If you want to know the minion method for the kettle, let me know. All you're going to need is some sort of firelighter, some briquettes and your kettle, and we're ready to rock and roll. First step, we're just going to remove your grill. Because we're going to use briquettes for the snake, they're going to go on the bottom grate itself. You want to adjust your vents from fully closed to the smoke setting. As you can see, it will be the first dot. Have some bloody weird wavy signs, or on the wherever it does anyway. It kind of looks like smoke. So it's just sort of split open. That will keep the temps nice and low. On the side where I'm not going to have the briquette set up, I've just got basically a foil catch can that's just going to catch all the crap that comes off whatever I'm cooking, and then it's just less cleaning. Now, whilst I have done plenty of snakes with lump charcoal, I think just for consistency of heat sake over the entire cook, let's run with briquettes. Because I know they're quite accessible and, well, not so cheap anymore, and will definitely do the trick. I've had absolutely no dramas using these in snake. We're going to use the Heat Beads Original. So just pour a stack into the corner. Basically what you're going to do is just going to leave a little gap at the start. That's where we're going to put our lit briquettes, and that will light the fuse. So this is how we're going to lay them out, right? So we're going to have 2 laying down just to start the snake. Then we're going to do 2 rows of 2 standing up, and we're going to do 1 joining in the middle. The key here is we want everything touching so that there's no issues with a break in the fuse. Pretty simple, to be honest. You can have it touching the bowl, it's no big deal. No hot science to it here. Just as long as everything's touching front and back and side to side. With the power of Harry Potter. So just quick recap. 2 rows of singles standing up, and then we've got 1 in the middle, all connecting, making sure everything's touching. If you've got some small gaps, just use some of the broken bits. Now, some of the other broken bits is perfect here because that's what we're going to use to start the fire. You got a couple options. You can put sort of about the 8 pieces of briquettes inside of something like this. This is a charcoal chimney. That will take about 10 to 15 minutes to light up. Or you can even just loosely stack them around some natural firelighters like this. Firelighters like this from Samba. You've got a bit of wind, that will take a bit more time. And if you've got any bits and pieces left over from your packet, just leave that underneath as well, that we can burn that all up. Now, if you want this thing roaring and have a real hot and fast cook, move the top layer to the bowl side and then add another layer directly over the top. If you run behind a cook, you've woken up late, you've had a big night on the terps, just run about, say, 12 or 14 briquettes at the start, and you'll get that initial burst of heat to preheat your kettle barbecue. Right, we're just going to light up the firelighters and the scrap bits of paper directly over the top of the briquettes. Righto, while that's heating up, we're going to talk cherry wood. Now, there is a metric shitload of different smoking woods that you can utilise on your kettle style smoker. Peach wood, you've got apple wood, you've got nectarine, you've got cherry, you can use ironbark, hickory. The list just goes on and on, but for today, it's very versatile. It's quite a mellow smoke, but it's got a very sweet, it's got a sweetness to it. You can smell it, it's absolutely stunning. It's probably my favourite fruit wood. It goes across fish, white meat like pork, beef ribs, etc. You name it, it will take care of the business. Right, I'll show you how to lay it out. Right, so because we're going to fire the lit charcoal at the start like a fuse, your smoking wood's going to apply to the same principle. So we're going to get a piece of fruit wood, and we're just going to throw it following up. Once we put the lit charcoal down, we'll just slightly move that forward, and then that will burn it like a fuse too. Then each subsequent piece of fruit wood, we're going to give it 2 or 3 centimetres, or about 1 inch between each other. So as you saw, the briquettes took up about half the diameter of the 57 centimetre kettle. That will probably give you around about 8 to 10 hours cooked, depending on your wind condition and the ambient temperature and how far you've got your vents open. We're going to stick to the smoke setting. Then the beauty of having a grate that has open sides, you can have this positioned over the end of the snake, and if you need to extend that cook, so you're going to 12, 14, 16 hours, then all you have to do is open that up and then just layer some more briquettes in before the fuse burns out. And if you're wondering when to take the briquettes off, it doesn't have to be fully ashed over. See, it's sort of half and half. We've got a bit of black here, we've got some glowing red, we've got some white. When it's about this stage, no dramas, we can position that at the start of the snake. Now, if you want to be as precise as a storm, just dump it in everywhere. If you want to be like the Panthers, grab some tongs, and then we're just going to surgically place them at the front. Throw them in a pile. Now, just blow on them just to knock all that ash off so they're at the hottest. Move that first piece of cherry wood just to the end, and then as soon as that starts smoking, we'll throw the lid on, let that preheat for about 20 or so minutes, then we can start cooking. Just make sure if you've got a lot of crap down the bottom, just give it a quick clean, then open it back to that smoke setting. Right, as you can see here, smoke's just starting to come off. We'll put the grate back on, put the lid on, let that preheat for about 20 minutes. Lid on, have the exhaust or the vent on the opposite side of where the fire is burning, because that's going to draw the smoke up and pull it over your meat. Exhaust open to full. If you want to wall it up a little bit, just nudge it back a little bit and it'll just have a little crack in those bottom vents, and that will... Okay, now that you're at to temp, we're just going to throw your protein on the opposite side of the fire. Remember, if you're looking, it ain't cooking. It's been over 4 hours, and as you can see, started there, it's burnt there, and we've still got all the way to go to here. So we've got a solid 12 hours with original briquettes, and that's running quite hot too. Right, so remember, we started back here. We're now burning up to here. It's been almost 6 hours, and we've still got almost half of it left. So I'm going to shut the vents right down, just so it's a little bit going. Righto, so a quick recap on how to utilize the snake method, which is just one of a few different types to do low and slow cooking. First of all, we use original briquettes for the purpose of this video. 2 rows on the bottom, vertical, and then 1 horizontal, joining the middle up. Make sure there's good contact between all of them. Use probably about 6 to 8 lit briquettes at the start, depending on how much heat you want. If it's a kettle style, have the bottom vent just cracked open, probably about 2 centimeters or so, which is the smoke setting if you're using a Weber. You get approximately 12 hours worth of burn time, depending on your ambient temperature, of course, wind and all that sort of stuff. But if you allow in that sort of 8 to 12 bracket, use the grill above the end of the fuse, then you can adjust and add some more rows if you want to extend the cooking time, and then you sort of rotate the grill around so the meat's not over the hot part of the charcoal. Then follow on to that, have the top vent at full blast, then have that on the meat side. That will draw the smoke from the lit fuse side across the meat and then out the top, and then just rotate that sort of every half an hour, so just to get a nice even coverage over your piece of meat, especially if it's a big rack of ribs, etc.